Productions presentation. Keeping it honest, insightful, interactive. Covering weekly fallout from TNA Impact Wrestling Live as seen on Spike TV. You're listening to Impact Showdown Radio with your host, Lee Sanders and Diamond K.
Coming at you with an all-new Impact Showdown Radio on May 9th, 2013. Now, we have to just clear up a thing or two over here. Now, I know we probably got some listeners that were actually watchers that was trying to go check out Impact Showdown live on YouTube fresh as Impact Wrestling went off the air. Turns out we aren't the only ones that's having this problem. Some of our good buddies that do their own wrestling shows right around this time, they're having problems as well with the Google Hangout. So best advice I can give you guys, you want that Impact Wrestling fix, hey, we will definitely do our best to hook you up tonight. I know we were not supposed to be coming back to Blog Talk Radio for Thursday nights, not until the week of the 23rd. That's when we were supposed to come back and basically try to simulcast for you guys. But it looks like due to the problems that's happening on YouTube, Google, we're just going to go ahead, do the show. Diamond has received email, text. He has the option. I told him if you want to do the show tonight, come on, call on in. Otherwise, I'm just going to have right at it. So I'm not even going to be waiting for him. We're just going to go ahead. We're just going to dive right into it. So welcome to those of you that's checking out tonight's show. Long-time listener, make sure you spread the links. Let your friends know that maybe miss Impact Wrestling tonight. They want to get a recap. Send them our links. Hook them up. Newer listeners, same deal. Let's have at it. All right, so we aren't going to be taking phone calls. If you called into our joint and you press the option to try to get yourself live on the air, we're not taking calls, okay? Understand, I'm going to have to, unfortunately, have a long night remixing this and uploading it to YouTube for our YouTube subscribers. So I'm not taking calls tonight. If it was earlier, I would. We're not taking calls tonight. Have at it. Let's go for it. Impact Wrestling came back to us live from Mississippi. I always love it when we get Impact Wrestling, when it's back, it's live, anything can happen, and it was so apparent tonight with the Christy Hemme screw-up. I was just chuckling my ass off as I just watched her announce the team of Bobby Roode and Austin Aries as Daniels and Kazarian, and to just see the priceless look on their faces as it was obvious she messed up big time. And then I kind of like the fact that Austin Aries kind of teabagged her in the corner there as they were getting ready for that tag match. That was just hilarious, and that's exactly what I'm talking about when I sit up and say that anything can happen live on Impact Wrestling. It's just those little things. All right, so with regards to tonight, of course, the million-dollar question that was on a lot of wrestling fans' minds. What's going on with AJ Styles? Is he going to side with Team Kurt Angle, Sting, to take on those damn aces and eights? That was the million-dollar question. And to kick off Impact Wrestling tonight, we would see the icon Sting and the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle. And they demanded to have an answer. AJ Styles, he would come out. Once again, the silent treatment. Didn't say anything to these guys. As Kurt Angle, he tried to show a little bit of tough love, if you will, in demanding an answer from AJ, as it kind of looked as if Kurt was just ready to beat it out of him. Sting, on the other hand, he tried to have a more smooth, laid-back approach, trying to really get on AJ's good side. AJ, though, he's not really budging, doesn't even show the slightest hint of, okay, yes, Sting, you kind of got a good point. Yeah, I'm kind of opening up. He wasn't even displaying that. It was just silent, just the same facial expressions. Kurt Angle, he pretty much had enough of this, man. He was ready to beat his ass right there on the spot as AJ, once again, silent treatment and all, left them hanging. Once again, we don't know what the answer is for the phenomenal one. Kurt Angle, he actually chased after AJ, and grabbed him by the shoulder. AJ pushed the Olympic gold medalist, say, hey, don't put your hands on me. Two of these guys, they actually ended throwing up the fist. As meanwhile, Sting, in the middle of the ring, he's kicking back, and he's just watching what's going on. He does not see Devon, Bully Ray, Mr. Anderson, a couple of other Aces and Eights members jump in the ring and attack Sting from behind. By the time we see Kurt Angle go back to the ring, Aces and Eights, they had already done the damage, but not before Kurt Angle could say to them, hey, boys, your ass is mine. I got you later tonight. And with that in mind, we ended up seeing AJ Styles leave the arena as cameras tried to catch up with him, fresh off of those events, asking if he was really going to leave Sting and Kurt Angle hanging. He didn't even offer a word. He just simply walked out of the arena. So now it's kind of looking as though this is going to be a 2-on-3 handicap match. How convenient is it that we're getting this handicap match to kind of play off of what we had saw last week from a certain promotion concerning a certain trio of men, if you will. Get the little hints I'm giving you guys, hint, hint, little company up there in Stamford, Connecticut that does a little something on Monday nights. It doesn't get any more blunt than that if you need a hint of what I'm talking about. You probably have the match running in your head now that I've mentioned that little drop. But interesting dynamics right here as we see Hulk Hogan later on. He's talking to Sting and Kurt Angle, and he says, you know what, for just one night, let me just go on ahead, team up with you guys. Sting reminds the Hulkster, you know, I know, your doctors did not clear you. Your doctors do not want you to do this. No, it's out of the question. Hulk Hogan does reveal, though, that he has a wild card that he's working on, and that hopefully his wild card can come through tonight. As far as what this wild card is, well, we know it's a person. The only question is, who is that person? Well, we would definitely find out later on in the night when it came to this main event match, as we did see the team of Kurt Angle and Sting talk to Hulk Hogan one last time to find out what was going on with this mystery opponent, as Hogan had already set it up so that their third partner would be Magnus. Now, Magnus, leading into this main event match, he did not make it to the six-man tag match tonight because Aces and Eights, they took him out as soon as they had heard that Hulk Hogan had decided to pair him up with Sting and Kurt Angle. So literally right before Sting and Kurt went on out for their match, they're asking Hogan what's going on with this wild card that you have. Hogan just says, look, I promise you guys that this is going to be huge. I really believe that he's going to come through. Trust me on this. Everything's going to be good. Y'all just go out there. And we had a pretty good tag match for the most part. And I know some of you guys were probably kicking back. I know me personally, I'm wondering who the heck this person could possibly be that's getting ready to return. And I'm saying to myself, I wonder if it could be Rob Van Dam. And I'm kind of thinking, man, that would just so be a letdown if that were to happen. Maybe we can get somebody else to return. Who haven't we seen in a while right now? And luckily, it wasn't Rob Van Dam. I'm quite sure a lot of people would have been upset with that. But luckily, it wasn't Rob Van Dam. The person that we actually had got to see was someone that we have not thought about maybe in almost a year. It was the one and only, the return of the monster, Abyss. He was the one that made his return tonight as he just executed the hell out of Aces and Eights members. It was just freaking ridiculous. But the monster Abyss made his return, or at least that's the impression that we're given right now. Okay, you dig that? And the reason why I'm kind of stressing that is that this could be a bit of a mind games created by one Hulk Hogan to try to make aces and eights think that their days are numbered. This could be, and we all know that Joseph and Abyss are the same person, but this could be a scheme that was cooked up by Hulk Hogan to kind of dress Joseph up as the monster Abyss. That's all I'm saying. Okay, I could be wrong with that, but it is what it is. But in either case, we saw the monster Abyss make his return tonight. It was pretty freaking cool. Other key highlights that we saw from Impact Wrestling tonight, we ended up seeing a pretty solid tag team knockouts match between Mickie James, Velvet Sky, as they had defeated the team of Tara and Gail Kim. But the real story with this particular match was, okay, I wasn't sure who that was. Okay, well, let's go ahead. Thank you for that notation. I did not know. Diamond, what's up, buddy?
All right, how's it going?
Hey, all right. Let the folks know what had happened after the post-match there with the Knockouts tag match.
Well, you saw a pretty, what I want to say, stiff figure four on the ring post. Girls are not supposed to do that move.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness.
Yeah, that was pretty. I felt sorry for Tara's legs, man. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, the camera didn't go back to her either, so I don't know how bad off she is.
Yeah, and I want to welcome those of you that's listening to us right now. I just want to stress it again. We were not supposed to be coming back to Blog Talk at least for about at least another week and a half, because we were going to try to figure out how to simulcast for you guys. But Google, YouTube, they're having some problems over there. And I know our good buddy Meathead, he's kind of playing around with it. Diamond, I don't know if you can maybe send Meathead a message, but, true story, I actually was playing around with
I was in there waiting.
Yeah. I've been playing around with that thing all day, and I just kept getting hiccups. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? So it's like now it's like really just tripping, and we feel for our boys that also cover wrestling, because we know they're trying to scrounge around, and just like we had to do, because it was either, okay, do we really want to talk about tonight's show, or do we want to take the night off? And I was almost ready to take the night off, but, I mean, we had Abyss. It was kind of like, okay, well, that and the big bombshell news that we had got about Impact moving, and we'll dive into a little bit of that later. But what was your take
not good news.
Yeah, not good news, and we'll definitely talk more about it. But what was your take on seeing the monster Abyss come back? Are you sold? Do you actually believe that this is the real deal, or do you think maybe Hulkster's kind of stirring the pot and playing a little mind games?
What do you mean mind games?
I don't know. I just got this weird impression that maybe Hulk Hogan maybe worked out some type of a deal with Joseph to play dress up.
Well, I mean, that is the deal. Yeah, I think Abyss is back. I think Abyss is back, and yeah, I mean, I don't really like the treatment of D'Lo, the way that happened. I mean, are we supposed to feel? I think that it should be one of the other guys should be in this slot instead of D'Lo, probably Mr. Anderson or one of the young guys, because the person in this role can translate to be a babyface for TNA side. But D'Lo can't wrestle.
I
mean, is it me or can he really? He can't wrestle, and I'm just not aware of it.
Yeah, for you guys, that's kind of like, huh? Well, D'Lo was in a bit of a rough spot tonight. If you watch Impact last week, he had guaranteed that he was going to beat Kurt Angle, as it was a I Quit match. Bully Ray told him, okay, you think you got this, huh? Well, do you bet your colors on it? And Devon actually said, yeah, that's how confident I am. And lo and behold, later on in the match, in the middle of the ring, D'Lo Brown, he just yelled the words, I quit, and it took us to tonight where there was a little bit of club business that needed to be taken care of. And, D'Lo lost his jacket or his cut, and they asked him what was he willing to do to get it back, and he said, well, I know Magnus is getting ready to come out. Let me kick his ass. And Bully Ray had another idea in mind as he told him, no, you're going to sit your ass by the timekeeper, and you're going to watch Doc beat the crap out of Magnus. And basically the stipulation was added, if Doc wins, then D'Lo gets his cut back, and he's officially back into the group, reinstated with his rank, all that. Well, he tried to be a good buddy and help out his boy Doc, but a little bit of a miscue there as Magnus was able to capitalize, and that's how he was able to get the win. This was before he got the beat down by Aces and Eights in the backstage segment. They took him out real good, too, by the way. And, I agree with you, Diamond. I agree that, it should be a young person that should be in that position. A Briscoe, a Garrett Bischoff. I'm looking at those two guys. Hell, even maybe even Mike Knox, just to kind of give him something to do. But I'm leaning more towards the younger guys that could actually, use that little rub off. And
I think since Doc was probably the first person unmasked, I think probably it would have made sense if it was him.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, I agree 100%. I must say, when I was seeing that segment play out on TV, I'm kicking back and I'm going, oh man, when is it going to end? Because that really just was not doing it for me. I don't care about some 40-plus, year-old guy that's out of shape and it looks like he's lost his spot in Aces and Eights. That doesn't do a damn thing for me. It'd be one thing if maybe I've seen this guy wrestle in TNA for, as long as Rob Van Dam, and the quality of the matches were good. Then it kind of makes me go, oh, well, that kind of sucks, but I don't know what the hell they're smoking over there with, it's like nobody cares about. Well, that's too harsh. Well, let me go there. Nobody cares about D'Lo Brown. I mean, come on, really?
All right. Well, here's a bit of surprising news for at least for me. Mm-hmm. D'Lo is 42 years old. Would it seem that he was older than that? But yeah, he's 40.
He looked like he's 47.
Yeah, he's 40. Yeah, he's 42 years old.
He looked like he's 47. He needs some Nutrisystem. He needs some Nutrisystem. I know some of you guys are like, Lee, you kind of packing. I ain't as big as D'Lo Brown, though. And hey, I'm working on mine. I'm proud to say that. I'm eating a little smarter, but D'Lo Brown, he looked like he went to go get the dunk meal and all that other good stuff. I respect him, man. For the little bit that he was able to contribute, mainly into the the WWE, and I hear a lot of good things that he does behind the scenes, especially with the TNA gut check seminars and all that. He has my respect as far as that goes. But seeing him on TV, I can't help but say, man, what is this, the old folks show? Why are we watching all these old heads get over? But it was nice seeing Abyss make his return tonight. On a good note, it looks like the Bound for Glory series is going to be coming back next week, and for the first time ever, they're going to include TNA gut check winners. So that means we'll get to see the returns of Alex Sylvia, Jay Bradley, Christian York, Sam Shaw. They're all going to be participating in a 4-man tournament, and the winner of that will go on, I believe, if I'm understanding it right, to the official start of the Bound for Glory series, where they'll eventually take on one of the main top guys in the company. Diamond, what's your thoughts on seeing those 4 gut check contestants come back?
I think it's pretty cool. I mean, they got to get this together, man. This competition is inconsistent, to say the least.
On a good note, I'm happy with the fact that these guys are coming back, excluding Christian York. We've seen him come back a good number of times. I'm more excited to see the other three come back because now it's like, okay, let's see what you guys have learned. And actually, let me back up. Let me retract another guy, Jay Bradley, because he's been around for a minute, okay? It's good. It's going to be good to see what Sam Shaw and Alex Sylvia has learned since last we've seen him, especially Sylvia. We haven't seen that young man, in a good minute. Now we get to see what they're really capable of, and hopefully they can really, really deliver. Even if they lose the tournament, hopefully they can deliver in a way where it makes TNA management go, yeah, these boys are ready. Let's inject them. Let's bring them in on a weekly basis. Because, I mean, you have the perfect opportunity now, if this is handled right, you have the perfect opportunity to have these guys, not necessarily Jay Bradley. He's more of a heel. But you can look at a guy like Christian York. You can look at a guy like Sylvia. You can look at a guy like Shaw. All three of those guys are baby faces. They play their cards right in this tournament. They could put themselves in a position where they could be aligned with Hulk Hogan, who's just scrounging around trying to find guys to help him take on aces and eights. And, what better way to take on aces and eights and get some young guys over by taking some of your gut check guys?
I agree.
Yeah, pretty good.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much potential with that. With that whole competition, and I just wish that they would take full advantage of it and really use it to, like you said, inject some of these guys into the system.
Yeah. Hopefully they will do that. We saw the video promo for Suicide. I thought that was pretty kick-ass. I wonder who's going to be Suicide this time. I know Daniels was doing a little bit of double duty, and then before that, can't really remember who was under the costume. I want to say maybe it was Kaz that was in there for a little bit, but
I think that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Suicide come back. I always was fascinated with Suicide. I thought he really could have went somewhere, but now that I'm thinking about it, I think 3 guys have played Suicide. Yeah. I think the first guy was not low-key. Wasn't low-key. Because remember the original finisher that Suicide used to do? It was like what the hell? It was like some Styles Clash mixed in with it was some crazy stuff that, like, you looked at it and said, man, I'm surprised that guy isn't paralyzed. And then he stopped being Suicide, and then they brought in Daniels, and then Kaz came in, and then they were kind of alternating for a little bit, but it was mainly Daniels. Yeah, it was 3 guys, if I'm not mistaken, that did Suicide. But, yeah, I can't wait to see him come back. What did you think about the segment between Kenny King and Hale Sabin?
It was cool. I think that Kenny King is starting to, has been coming into his own when they give him TV time.
Got new music tonight and everything. I was loving that, man. I'm like, oh my God, what's up with these guys? He really cut up on Sabin bad. I mean, Chris Sabin, he is just fresh off of the injuries, had a pretty impressive debut return last week, getting all in the face of Kenny King, telling him, kiss that title, take your pictures. I'm going to be taking it next week. I'm winning that bad boy. And see Kenny King just let him hold the title for a little bit and then just rub it in his face. That's as close as you're ever going to come to it. It's like, But, I would be so disappointed next week in that triple threat match, as it's going to be Kenny King taking on Petey Williams, taking on Chris Sabin for the X Division title, I would be so disappointed if King drops the strap. I don't think it should go down like that. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy.
It feels like that's where they're going now.
It really does. And that's very unfortunate, because the Kenny King that I've seen debut in TNA right on up to now, it's almost two completely different people. I mean, this Kenny King that we're seeing now, he has just really been displaying that he's just been really comfortable, and just seems like creatively he's just really having fun being a heel and just cutting it up on the mic. And I'm loving his work. It sucks, if they go this route and they put the title on Sabin next week, I just think it's going to be a big bummer. It kind of goes back to what Katarina was saying this past Tuesday night, how, we see these guys, they win the title, they have it for a little bit, or, they're not making as many appearances as a champion, and then all of a sudden they got to drop it to somebody that returns. I think that's silly.
Yeah, that's kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would say at least make the payoff be at Slammiversary. I mean, come on. Why not make people to pay to see it,
Yep. And one thing about returning, I'm just glad that it was not RVD tonight.
Yeah.
When you put that tweet out there, I said, "Oh my God, I forgot about him." No, not him.
I'm glad I was wrong, man, because
I am too.
I'm thinking to myself, who's Hogan talking about? I'm like, who's he tight with like that? And I just start running down the roster, and I was just thinking about who we hadn't seen in a while, and I just remember how he used to always sweat Rob Van Dam, even doing his little thumb pose, and I'm like, well, it's got to be RVD. It's got to be him. That just sends a huge sign of, what exactly is going on with Rob Van Dam. I mean, we can only speculate. I mean, he did show up at the WWE Hall of Fame, and a lot of people are kind of wondering, could that be the sign that he's going back to the Stanford Company? He's not really talking, but I tell you what, I don't really miss him. I think TNA's doing quite fine without him.
Absolutely.
Huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you at least for a moment think that they were going back to the NWO type of thing where whoever came out was going to be with aces and eights?
Oh, when I kind of got that vibe just a little bit.
Yeah, because that's how they set it up.
But like for me, it definitely felt like WCW when I saw the guys in Aces and Eights just all laid out backstage, and I just had this ridiculous thought in my head, and I know I'm probably going to get bashed for it, but I saw the guys laid out. I'm thinking to myself, could it be? Could it be the Man? Could it be Goldberg? And I was just ready to.
Well, I'll tell you this: the place would have come unglued if Goldberg had walked out. He probably would have injured. He probably would have injured several people.
Honestly, I think that would have had the whole wrestling community just be like all night. They would just be doing an all-nighter. Goldberg return! Goldberg return! What else do you remember about Impact Wrestling tonight? Not a damn thing. Just Goldberg return.
Yeah. I definitely want to say this before we get out of here. I think that it's a mistake for them to go back to the 9 o'clock hour. I think that they would do better, and this is going to sound crazy. They would do better going to Monday nights than going back to the 9 o'clock hour for start time.
I agree.
I think they would be better off going head to head 8 o'clock with WWE, at a point where they have, so many eyes on wrestling, than going into this 9 o'clock hour, because to me, once you set a time, that's the time. Because people, it took them a year to get people used to this. 8 o'clock is a better hour to start wrestling, a wrestling show on. And I just think this is a mistake.
I agree 100%. Yeah, I mean, and see, it doesn't even, they just have been flip-flopping the past few years, man. I mean, first it was Thursday nights, then they went to Mondays. They tried to do their thing against Raw. They lost poorly in the ratings, and then they went on back quietly to their Thursday time slot. Then they moved to 8 p.m., and, I mean, my God, man, so many people are crapping on this, and you know what? They should, I know that probably Spike TV and crew, they were probably freaking out because they looked at the ratings the past couple of weeks and they said to themselves, oh, man, this is, I think they just overreacted. I mean, you don't see WWE Raw in a freaking panic and trying to figure out if they need to move back to a certain time, nothing of that nature, and it just sends a bad message for me personally, because I'm like this, you know what, you're going to have your seasons, okay? You're going to have those weeks where you're not going to be able to bring in the usual. A lot of folks are heavy into the playoffs right now. I believe the Stanley Cups is underway. Actually, let me retract that. Baseball, because I don't know that much about hockey, but I do know baseball. A lot of folks are talking about that, but it's the NBA playoffs that's got a lot of people talking right now. So, you're going to have those weeks where you're not going to do so good, It doesn't mean that it's freaking panic mode, that you need to move to a new time slot, and I just think that Spike TV, where's the sense of loyalty? You know what I'm saying? It's like these guys have been on your network, my God, man, a good minute now. Show a little bit of loyalty. Let them work it out. Let them iron out whatever it is that, they got to get through, But I look at it as a defeat because look at all the smart moves that they have been trying to make to save a little bit of money. They've cut back on the pay-per-views, and they're doing the live events, and while they're at the live events, they're taping a bonus episode of Impact, save on production costs, all that. Now there's a new little bit of shake-up, Diamond, as far as the way they're paying their wrestlers. As I don't know if you guys have heard this, but it looks like now what they're doing is TNA is notifying some wrestlers that they would now be paid per episode of Impact Wrestling aired. And as it stands right now, a number of wrestlers are on a pay-per-appearance contract. And so since it's like that, that means that they're being paid one time for two episode taping. So that's a little, but when it's all said and done, there's a little bit of money that's, somebody's being gypped on. So, you just add in all this stuff that's going on, Diamond, and then you add in them moving back to 9. It just sucks.
Yeah. Hogan, Sting, these guys are making the most money, and, they're not in any, trouble for getting their money, at least not right now. They're the only ones, though.
Yeah. I was like, when I first heard the news, I was upset. The first thing that clicked in my head was, fuck, that means we're going to have to come on an hour later. I was really loving, I was really loving 11 o'clock, and it's like, all right, get to do a little remixing and, go to sleep at a good time, that's good, So for me, when I heard that, it was like, but then what really, really kicked in was just the whole, man, talk about defeat. You're tucking your tail, in between your legs and,
again.
Going, right, and it's like, okay, so who's going to lead you, okay? Who's going to lead you? What, world's worst, crappiest tenants, cops? Who's going to lead you in? I don't get that. I don't get that. The only way I think this would be a smart move is if they had Bellator lead them in, because I've been hearing nothing but good praise as far as the ratings go for Bellator. So, unless you're taking Bellator putting it in its place. But, I mean, even at that, Bellator lasts like about 2+ hours. So, I mean, what are you going to do? Do like some type of a special 1-hour Bellator thing to
Don't they have some type of Ultimate Fighter type of Bellator thing starting up?
I think they do. If not,
that might not be a bad lead-in.
If not, this would be my advice to TNA President Dixie Carter and crew. The show has been working for you guys for so many years. It's about time to see if Spike TV would be willing to let it air. Of course, I'm talking about Explosion. Just put Explosion on that 8. Do your thing with Impact Wrestling.
That's definitely a thought.
Yeah, I mean seriously, But I don't like this. It shows a sign of defeat.
Again.
Yeah, and it really makes. I have great concern now. It's like, what exactly is the future of TNA going to be? Because if I'm TNA President Dixie Carter, I'm going to look at that and I'm going to say, what the hell is going on? We just had a couple of weeks where it was a little rough, and now they're moving us. Where's the loyalty? That would be my whole thing. I don't know, man. This could be a sign. I'm curious what type of conversation we're going to have 6 to 8 months from now, because this could be a sign that, maybe TNA might be running its course on Spike TV. And I don't like saying that, but, it could be the case. And if so, where are they going to go?
I'm not sure, but I mean, from Spike's standpoint, I guess they're saying the ratings have not increased. They haven't really decreased. They stayed the same. And I guess they're thinking that the ratings are going to stay the same no matter what we put in that spot. And it may be because the ratings are just steady and with no increase or decrease on average, that they want to strengthen the 10 o'clock hour and put something else in that 8 o'clock hour, because they know that TNA is going to bring a certain number no matter when they come on, no matter who's on the show.
Yeah. We'll see if this saves them. I will be, I'm already on top of the ratings as it is, but I'll definitely be paying attention to the ratings when they make this move on the 30th, and we'll definitely recap a month from now and see how they're doing and compare it to the last month to see if there's any much of a significant change. Because if not, I think it's just one of the most boneheaded moves that you can ever do, and hopefully as we're leading up to this, it was good to see Dixie Carter put the message out there. I know Jeff Jarrett had retweeted it, but that, they need to make sure that they have their audience, because even though they might be struggling in the ratings, you still got those TNA fans that are used to 8 o'clock, especially those long-time fans. They're used to that 8 o'clock, you know what I'm saying? And then maybe 10 o'clock they're watching their favorite show on NBC, or they're watching the news, or they're getting ready to wrap it up for the night, or, hey, they might be kicking back, listening to us, watching us, whatever like that. So, they're going to follow it no matter what. And the smart move that they need to do right now, leading until that change. Unlike what they did the previous times. Remember, the previous times they were talking about day changes and time frame changes. They really didn't do that much plugging. I mean, especially on social media. There was barely a drop. This time around, they need to really push at it hard. And here's one thing I would offer, and I want, as we're wrapping this up, I'm surprised they haven't gone for Wednesday night, quite honestly. Come on Wednesday night, compete with main event.
That's interesting. I never thought of that. I mean, and they might do better on that night. But I don't know the availability of the channel on that night.
That would be smart. I mean, main event has been getting a lot of praise. A lot of people are checking that out. That's pretty much how a lot of people have been kind of, really getting into the WWE product is Main Event. I've personally had a couple of conversations with folks, like newer WWE fans. I'm like, so what did you end up checking out first? Like Main Event. I'm like, oh, that got you into, yeah. And then I watched SmackDown and I watched Raw.
And what do you think about? I mean, I just think that competition brings out the best in people. What do you think about them going up against SmackDown?
That's a move I've been waiting for a long time. I would even welcome that. See, I went with Main Event because that's only an hour that you have to compete, right. And then the second hour is yours. But, hell, I think that would be some phenomenal competition because, I mean, SmackDown usually gets what? Their average rating is, I haven't reported their ratings in a while. What do they get usually, like a 2-point-something?
2-point-something, yeah. And I'm thinking that, looking back, if they had gone against SmackDown as opposed to Raw at that time, they might have fared better.
I agree.
But once again, I don't know if Spike was willing to. But it seems like Spike would have been more willing to give up a Monday than a Friday. A Friday than a Monday, rather.
Yeah. Talking to one of our buddies, and there's still technical difficulty on Google's end, and stressing to let your voices be heard and let them know how you feel. Use the hashtag Google+. You and me definitely need to retweet that. Yeah, it's our buddy that put that out there. Oh my God, that is crazy, man. I'm trying to think if there was anything. Because I took a glance earlier as we were getting ready to watch Impact tonight. I don't really think anything else had happened as far as TNA wrestling news.
No,
I mean, it's pretty much been quiet, I've actually seen like 30-minute tirades on people, bitching about TNA moving back to 9 p.m. I don't really think you need to go, especially if you're just by yourself. I don't think you need to go 30 minutes that long. But I agree with you 100%. SmackDown, I think that'd be, nice competition. Always bring out the best in each other. Or Main Event, that's another one. But truly, this is definitely a black eye for TNA, and I'm pulling for them. I'm not like some guys on some shows that they like to make fun of TNA and and all their shortcomings, and this isn't one of those type of shows. We do really have concern for the product, and I think I speak for Diamond. Say we want the best for the company. We want to see them succeed, and this in no shape or form is really helping them succeed because you're showing them that you don't really have faith in them. And I understand Dixie wants to be loyal to that network. After all, they played a huge part in paying the tab to get Sting in there. But, sooner or later, you got to sit up and say, okay, the loyalty's only got me this far. Maybe it's time I go test the waters elsewhere. I mean, you see, that's what SmackDown did. Remember how many times they kept postponed by baseball games and all that on 10/20?
It reminds me of a conversation I had with my father when I was 20 years old, and I grew up in a row house here. The house is connected on both sides, and so my sisters were all upstairs, our bedrooms upstairs. Then when my new sister got old enough, they gave her my old room, moved me to the basement, right? And so I was complaining about it, but whatever, they hooked it up. We made it nice. But my father said, the next step is out the door. So you need to start thinking about getting your own place, right? And with this move, I think the next step for TNA is off the network. Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. If there, now that we're talking about it, if there's one network that I'm eyeballing right now that kind of has me going, yes, I think it would be a good fit for TNA on that network.
Which is?
G4 has now turned into Esquire for men. I think that would be a good fit.
What channel is that?
G4.
The old G. So it's the same channel G4 was on. Okay.
Yeah. They just rebranded it. They're calling it Esquire for Men. You know, they're trying to have original programming geared towards men. I think that would be a perfect win-win combination. You know, let them hop on over there. That way they still have, you know, that creative freedom. They can still keep their rating and keep their sponsors. Maybe they even get in some new sponsors. But I think that would be a good network for them. I'm trying to picture other networks, you know, that would be very suitable for them. And they can forget about TNT. That's not happening. TNT, they love their basketball and all that other stuff. That ain't happening.
They can definitely forget about that.
Yeah. Really, that's it. That's their one chance.
Yep.
Yeah, that's their one chance. Unless they, it could work. Unless maybe they go digital and, you know, they make episodes be available on Hulu. Maybe they could do something with not necessarily Netflix, but something like Hulu. You know, I see them maybe doing something like that. I don't know if they would have the same success that they have
Definitely
on
not.
Cable network.
And ad revenue is going to really go down.
Exactly. But you know what? We're talking about ad revenue and all that. I'm actually very surprised that Impact Wrestling hasn't worked out that type of deal yet, making episodes available to purchase on iTunes and all that, and, you know, networking them. You know, however they, you know, figure it out, they can split the profits. Surprised they haven't done that yet. I'm sure there's some hardcore wrestling fans out there that would probably pay anywhere between 99 cents to $5 an episode.
Yeah, well, I mean, but nothing that they can come up with is gonna beat that TV, those TV rights.
No, you forget that. Yeah, no. When it comes to the ratings, no.
Definitely.
No, they need a network that can definitely grow with them, commit to them, you know, honor their time slot, stop bouncing them around, you know, let them keep whatever they got and just iron it out. I mean, my God, man. I don't know how many times you and me have sat up and we've looked at the ratings for Raw or whatever, and they pulled in a bad week because of, you know, some game that's on NFL or, you know, I think the only time we saw some severe crap go down was that one week or two that Raw was like bombing in the ratings. And the next thing you know, they got rid of one of their head writers. You know, this going down right now. It's nothing. It'll blow past. It's nothing. NBA finals are over. I mean, what else do you expect? You know, it's pretty much summertime. People are getting ready to go on vacation. They're not really wanting to stay inclined to, you know, be indoors, you know, around that time. They want to be out with their friends, enjoying the weather. You know, people are getting ready to go on vacation.
Right.
You know.
They're going to make out worse moving the time slot as the finals go on, though.
Because, it's not wrapping up until, what, June?
Right.
At least the second week of June, I think.
Yeah. And that's when the Heat's going to take it all. But yeah, I mean that's how it's going to happen.
I don't know, man. The Heat do look good. I tell you what, I was watching NBA TNT the other night, and Ernie Johnson, man, he be cracking me up, man, because he was getting on Shaquille O'Neal. He's like, "How that look? Hot." The Hopper from Dish Network. That commercial be tripping me out, man. I got me walking around the house saying that crap now. My girl's like, "God, you're more annoying than the commercial." Every time I watch a replay now on one of the games, I go, "That was hot." It was crazy, man. Let's wrap up the show on that note. I think we did a good show tonight, especially on short notice, because, like I said, guys, we were originally supposed to work on simulcasting for you guys, iron out some kinks and, you know, try to figure out how we can do it. And I was quite surprised when I logged into the switchboard. I didn't know that was you, but there was like 5 other people that was like, where's the show? And I'm like, damn, So, I know that there's those of you that are used to calling in the blog talk, and trust me, I've been looking at the numbers for the show past couple of weeks, and y'all are letting your voices be heard. We're sorry, we just up and went to YouTube like that, but we're gonna try to do our best to simulcast for you guys. And if there's no hiccups, it's all smooth, we'll gladly keep doing it for you. But at this point, we want whatever's going to be the easiest and simple way, without it being too complicated. That's what we care about the most. We don't want to do X, Y, Z just to be able to do two things at the same time. But we'll try to see if we can help you guys out. And then in the meantime, this Saturday we got a special guest that's going to be dropping by the weekend edition. It's a pro indie wrestler by the name of Steve Off. You guys should be a little bit familiar with him because currently he is in the TNA Gut Check voting challenge that's going down online. Y'all will be able to vote for him in his respective bracket shortly. We'll be talking all things wrestling. For those of you that are soap fans or you got family members that are soap fans, I'm going to actually review the first 2 weeks of the new One Life to Live reboot that's exclusive to Hulu, iTunes. I'll give you guys the final verdict on that, let you know how the series has been so far, if it's worth checking out. I know there is a big group of you out there that refuse to check out the show. I'll give you the final verdict on that, and a little bit of a spoiler. You want to check it out because I've been watching that particular soap for more than 20 years, so you can definitely trust me when I say that my honest review of the series, it will be unbiased because I've watched many other soaps, but that one is my favorite, but I can definitely give you guys an unbiased review, what's working for it, what's not working, so check that out. And then next Tuesday on Blog Talk Radio, me and Diamond, we're going to welcome a special guest, Shine Wrestling's own, as she has been doing a little bit of work for them from time to time, the beautiful and the lovely Lashish Latasha. She's going to be stopping by for a cool interview with us. We're going to talk all things wrestling and find out what she's been up to. She's another one, Diamond, that has jumped into the TNA Gut Check Challenge voting contest. So we definitely, that should be a good interview right there. And special shout-out to our good boy, the famous Justin Reno. As of tomorrow, you guys will be able to vote for him and his alter ego, Judas Dordig, for the Gut Check Challenge. Make sure, if you haven't seen his work yet, just hop on over to facebook.com/TheJustinReno, and you'll get an idea of what his work is all about. It's some real good stuff. You'll like his new character. I mean, it looks evil and creepy as fuck. Trust me on that. And that's pretty much it. I mean, we got some more guest time that's actually going to be popping up, and it looks like the month of May is going to end real strong because we got nothing but guests that's just going to be popping up here and there. And let the folks know. Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, let the folks know what you going to be doing with Ustream this weekend.
This weekend, we're going to be 2 to 4 talking about the McDonald's loving hero that we've been seeing on TV that quote unquote saved the kidnap victims. So we're definitely going to be talking about that and a lot of other things. Did you listen to that 911 call?
911 call by who?
Have you been under a rock? Did you not?
I have.
Did you not see these girls who had been kidnapped for 10 years?
Oh,
and they got free in Cleveland.
No, I don't know how the hell I missed that. Damn.
Yeah, you definitely need to look that up. A Hispanic guy held these girls hostage for 10 years. They have had children by him and been, I guess, some type of sex slaves, something like that. And they were able to escape from this house where they've been for 10 years. And a guy was, eating McDonald's or whatever, and saw these girls. These are young girls. These are not, like I said, these are young girls. And so this very entertaining black guy with really crazy hair rescued them. And when they put people on TV, sometimes it's just like not the people that should be talking, and he's one of those type. But definitely look that up.
I'll look that up. And will you be talking more about that this weekend?
Definitely. We're going to be talking about. Definitely going to be talking about that.
I'm gonna definitely have to tune in after I get done. Yeah, I'll definitely tune in and listen to you guys. Now, you doing the stream and radio, or are you just streaming?
We're doing both. Yeah, we're doing both.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, good. 2 picks. I like that. I'll definitely check it out then. That's going to do it, boys and girls. If we would have did this a lot earlier, we definitely would have opened up the phone lines, because I actually saw a couple of people that were waiting in queue. I guess they wanted to talk about Abyss returning, but we got a remix and all that and put it on YouTube, all that good stuff. So, but good damn show tonight. That's going to do it. Be sure to follow Diamond K on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, The Diamond K Show. You can follow the RCWR Show at the RCWR Show. Follow us also on Twitter at Infinity One Prod. We got a Facebook page over at Infinity One Productions. Any episodes that you missed, I highly encourage you to go backtrack in our archive section on blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR Show. Scoop up anything that you had missed, especially shout out if you missed our interview with the beautiful and the lovely Miss Katarina Waters, a.k.a. Katie Birchhill, TNA winner. You want to go check that out. Show that some love. I've actually been getting a good praise for that on Facebook. A lot of folks, they really had enjoyed the interview.
It was a good interview.
Yeah, it was really good. I had a lot of fun doing it. She is such a sweetheart, too. I mean, she just really came off very cool and just real laid back. Real good stuff right there. Check it out. And that's going to do it. I gave you guys the links. iTunes, Stitcher. Check all that good stuff out. You can also show some love on YouTube as well. We always post a lot of goodies on there. And that's going to do it. He's the one and only Diamond K. I'm Lee Sanders. Everybody, you have a good weekend. And we will see you guys next week. Everybody take care.